is Lauren Hollis for NOI Education Services, and you are back. Thank you so much. We are going to be talking all about assessment in the next 2 episodes. So unlike the key changes in the new RTO standards for training, assessment, not so much, pretty much the standards, just a couple of little things to note, a little few tweaks that I think will make your policies and procedures and the way that you go about doing this that little bit more compliant with the new standards that are coming into effect from 1/1/25. Before we kick into it too much, if you haven't already, please do like and subscribe. It certainly does help to make sure we keep lots of great content coming your way. And guys, we have got lots of great content coming your way in 2024. Okay, so for assessment under the new RTO standards that are coming out 1/1/25, it has now gone to 1.3, 1.4, and 1.5. Basically, that encompasses what was previously 1.8 to 1.12, well, 1.12, 1.11. Probably more realistically, is kind of where we see things sitting. So 1.3 is a little bit new. It says the assessment system is fit for purpose and consistent with the training product. Nothing really new there. The RTO demonstrates how the assessment system ensures assessment is consistent with the requirements of the training product. Now, that basically, look, honestly, to me, mapping guide guys, right? That's what your mapping guides are meant to do. That's what your validation system is meant to do. So nothing new there. However, then it goes on to say, the RTO demonstrates assessment tools are tested prior to use to ensure assessment can be conducted in a way that is consistent with the principles of assessment and rules of evidence. Outcomes of testing inform any necessary changes to assessment tools. Now, I'm sure there'll be some of you that are going, oh, well, we had to pre-validate our assessment tools beforehand, things like that. I think the question is really going to boil down to the definition of tested prior to use. All right, what does that mean to people? Because certainly in my conversations, we are going to be actually having a discussion with a couple of different RTO consultants over this in the next couple of months. I'm sure you guys will see that come out at one point. But that sort of terminology for some people, that means, basically like making sure that you are doing your pre-validation, having another person look over it, making sure that, the instructions make sense, making sure that the mapping guide is accurate. For other people, their interpretation of it, or I guess one of their concerns that the regulator's interpretation of it means it's actually got to be physically tested. So you've got to run an entire, like a student or a cohort through the assessment end to end to actually see how that works. Now, there's a whole range of reasons why that's a little bit problematic. I mean, and to some extent it's done anyway. So anytime you have a brand new cohort going through a brand new set of assessment tools, well, certainly all the RTOs that I work with, it's pretty standard for us to kind of say, hey, all right, we accept this is a new set of assessment tools. This is the first time that we're really rolling it out to a big group. There's probably going to be changes made to it. There's probably going to be additional validation that we're going to undertake. We're going to have to spend a little bit more time undertaking feedback on these assessments so that we can then incorporate that into version 2 of the course, for example. So that's pretty common, I think, across RTOs. And again, it's going to boil down to, guys, within your policies, how you're defining that, that little statement there. Assessment tools are tested prior to use, right? So how are you defining that? What does that mean to you? And then how does that then look? In relationship to C, so 1.3C, the outcomes of testing inform any necessary changes to assessment tools. To me, that's like a basic thing that goes into your validation register, into your continuous improvement register. That can live on your student management system, certainly in the student management system that we use. That information goes directly into your student management system so that you can pull it up. I know that in some of the document management systems, you can do that as well. There's also continuous improvement systems. And honestly, guys, why do you have 6 systems? Just get Excel, right? It's one system, so much easier. Don't have a separate document management system and a separate student management system and then student learning management support. Why? Why would you pay for all of those things? RTOs are not necessarily overly profitable. You don't have that kind of money to waste. Just get one system. Full accelerate today. I am not sponsored by Accelerate either. I will say, because people do ask me that all the time. I like systems that make sense. I like easy, user-friendly systems. And when my clients have other systems, I get really frustrated. Because I can't get the reporting out of them that I want, and I can't get the data out of them that I want. And that frustrates me when I can't help my clients. So yes, so outcomes of testing informant is so just like basically document the changes that you've made. Now, part of that is done obviously in the version control of the assessment tools themselves. But also in an ideal world, what you are doing there is you are actually putting information into the system and saying, like, we updated, we changed the wording that we used on this question. We noticed that this wasn't as robust as it could be, so we added a further benchmark to it. This method of delivering the assessment was really unclear to students, so we had to update the instructions. Those little sorts of things that basically show that you are committed to providing really, really good assessment. Now, 1.4 is basically 1.8. Minor changes in language, but look, to me, I don't really that there's anything overly substantive in there. Effectively, it says the assessment system ensures assessment is conducted in a fair and appropriate way and enables accurate judgments of learner competency. Okay, the RTO demonstrates assessment is conducted in line with principles of assessment. And then B is assessors make individual assessment judgments that are justified based on the rules of evidence. So as always, guys, it comes down to the rules of evidence. It really does fall on the assessor. You guys are the ones that hold the TAE qualification. You guys are the ones that understand your units of competency best. You guys are the ones that understand what competency looks like. And so therefore validity, sufficiency, authenticity, and currency are on you. Validity continues to have very similar language. So the assessment evidence ensures or assures the assessor that the learner's skills has the skills and knowledge as described in the training product. Okay, again, trainers, if you haven't read through your units in a while, if your units have been superseded, and they've come out as new, you need to be looking at those new units. And then sufficiency has kept those keywords in it, which I was, personally very happy about. So the quality, quantity, and relevance of assessment evidence enables a judgment of competency to be made. Okay, and I think that those are the three words: quality, quantity, and relevance of assessment evidence. And guys, if you've got quality, you don't need to focus so much on quantity. Okay, nowhere in these standards does it say you need to have 2 or 3 pieces of evidence against every criteria. That's never been in the standards. It is not in the current standards. You've got to have a quality, quantity, and relevance of assessment evidence. And for some things, if you've got a really good quality and you've collected it once and that is sufficient, then that is sufficient. You don't need to have 2 things against everything. Certainly not when the second thing that you guys are going to be putting to it is not of quantity. Like, it's not of quality. I see assessment tools all the time where there's like a million questions, and that's because they've decided there's a necessity to put a question against every performance criteria, even though the performance criteria is inherently its performance. So it is therefore skills based. So I don't know why you're asking a question about it. That's fine as a formative assessment, but like I don't see the point in having it there as a summative assessment. So that's just my thing. If you guys are unsure about assessment in any way, shape, or form, like we honestly have the biggest amount of videos in and around that. Like I would say we easily have 20 or 30 plus videos just on assessment, explaining the principles of assessment, explaining the rules of evidence, explaining how you go about applying that, explaining how you go about developing for that. All of these sorts of things. You can go into our channel and you can select the playlist for assessment, and it will probably go for hours. I have spoken about this so much. It's something that we're very, very passionate here at NOI about, is getting good assessment. We create highly contextualized assessments. Like, that is our bag. That's what we love to do. We love to create assessments that are highly contextualized to learner cohorts that do not need to be modified post-purchase. They are like ready for your cohort, for your delivery model, good to go like immediately when you purchase them. So that is like our whole thing. And we are very, very like passionate about creating good assessments. That's it, guys. We will be dealing with 1.5 in our next video, which really focuses in and around validation again. Not huge changes, just little things, and some tips and tricks on how you guys can handle that. Now, of course, as I said, this is all about making sure that your policies and processes are updated. If you can't be bothered updating your policies and procedures, and why would you? It's kind of boring. Only people, weird people like me, actually like doing that sort of thing, sitting there and reading legislation and updating policies accordingly and then cross-checking them all. Then by all means, reach out to us and we can help you develop your set of policies and procedures for 2025 so that you are ready to rock and roll from 1/1/25 or even more before then. In addition, people who are developing who purchase our set of policies and procedures this year will also get a full training system on them. So we are currently recording a whole bunch of videos, basically specifically about each policy and procedure and how they apply to trainers, how they apply to admin. So it comes with a whole PD system as well. We do contextualize. We have a contextualized set for crime costs, we have contextualized set for domestic, and we can contextualize it for your funding requirements as well. So by all means, if you are not the kind of person that likes to sit around and read legislation, then reach out to us. My name is Lauren at NOI.org, or you can reach out to the lovely Laura at NOI.org, and we will take you through how that can help and support your RTO. If you guys have any other questions, or if you want to disagree, please feel free to do so, but do so respectfully. Otherwise, leave a comment below asking your questions, and I will get to them as quickly as possible. I hope you guys found this helpful. Have a fantastic day, and we will be back in our next video to talk about validation. My name is Lauren Hollows for NOI Education Services.